My name is Professor John Wyatt. I'm the lead professor and coordinator of the contract management program at California State Polytechnic University, Pomona.
In continuing to talk about Cal Poly Pomona's contract management program, can you describe in your own words what is contract management?
Well, contract management, I think, is still trying to define itself. But basically, it's the management side of contracts, as well as, and that's on the post-award side, as well as on the pre-award side, trying to maximize competition and maximum extent practicable. In this time of diminished budgets where dollars are harder to find, especially with impoundment of funds and other issues, it's absolutely crucial that we get more bang for the buck and that we spend our procurement dollars wisely, regardless whether it's a government or private industry. Contract management is set up as a profession to establish safeguards to provide that we do have competition on the pre-award side and that people have a fair opportunity to get a contract, as well as that the contract is administered fairly in good faith in accordance with the contract terms.
Being known that Cal Poly Pomona has one of the few contract management programs in the nation, why choose Cal Poly Pomona to teach at?
Why I think it's so important here at Cal Poly is because, number one, we're not a rich kid school. Most of our students here are going to be first generation college graduates. Many are bilingual, some are multilingual. Many are working, as you are, working full-time jobs, putting themselves through school. And quite frankly, I'm proud of them. I think they inherently know how to multitask. They realize the value of the education. They're appreciative, they're hungry, they're aggressive, and when they go out in the workforce, they make me very proud.
Being that your program transitions students from the classroom to the workforce, how does it give a representation from the contract management and from the real world, from the classroom?
Well, we try in our curriculum to have applied learning. Basically meaning, our philosophy of learn by doing here as a university as a whole really does apply to the contract management courses. Granted, you can't emulate a whole work environment in the classroom, but we try to come as close as we can. But I think our track record speaks for itself. The reason that our program has an excellent reputation is that the alumni from this program go out every day and prove to employers, both government and industry, that they know contract management, that they're aggressive, they're willing to learn, they've become active in NCMA and other similar organizations, and quite frankly, they continue a lifelong learning cycle, which brings credit to the school. Contract management is constantly changing. Regulations are constantly changing. Even the names of our statutes just changed with positive law codification. So it's a dynamic area. One never gets bored in this discipline because it is so rapidly changing. But the good news is that you can make a difference. Like as one of our alumni did when she bought electric buses for a huge metropolitan transit authority, she was able to make a difference. And a lot of professions, you don't have that kind of gratitude.
For here at Raytheon, I'm responsible for all the proposals, contract negotiations, contract management, through closeout. That's probably the most narrow definition. I have export-import control also in my function.
How were you involved with Society of Law, Contract and Procurements, a student organization at Cal Poly Pomona? And what was your involvement with NCMA?
Well, back in 1980 and the 4 years preceding, there wasn't such a thing. Really, the reason I got into this profession, I owe it to the professor I had back in probably 1979. I took a class called Procurement Management. Not that I wanted to take the class, but I was trying to round out my schedule, and that was available, so I took it not really knowing what it was. But Paul Wisen was a professor. He made the whole class go to an NCMA meeting, which happened to be the San Gabriel chapter here in Southern California. Went to the meeting, had a nice time, finished the class, graduated, and then I ended up getting a job at General Dynamics Pomona division. And I ran across a gentleman I met at that meeting about a year and a half earlier. And I was in estimating at the time in the finance department. And through that connection that I had through Cal Poly at that NCMA meeting, I moved into contracts. About 2 years being with the company, and I've been there ever since. This is my 36th year.
What advice would you give current students that are studying or pursuing a career in this field?
Well, become an NCMA member for sure. Get the magazine's good. If you can get into a company through an internship, I think that's valuable. We tend to do that from time to time, and it gives the company kind of a sneak peek at talent that's out there, emerging talent coming from the colleges. And it might help you get in the door, and particularly if you have some experience or knowledge on the subject coming in. Sometimes we hire people who have no real knowledge of contract management until we have to train them up. So if having the fundamental knowledge that you get from Cal Poly and NCMA really helps you, and then if you can get an internship, then I think you got a leg up.
Joining the program of contract administration at Cal Poly Pomona, and through many guest speakers and being an active member in the club, I have gained leadership opportunities through the club, and also ultimately having an internship at Lockheed Martin Skunk-Works, where I was able to apply my knowledge from the classroom into the workplace, which was government and commercial contracts.
Is a place to establish a network.
To seek new opportunities. Is a place to be a student achiever.
Is a place to make new friends.